Great.
Coach, first time we've gotten to catch up with you after All-Star Weekend. Just how was your experience in Indy, and how much fun was it being out there with the staff and the players?
Yeah, I think the best part was just all being there together, and it brought back some memories of when our staff would be at All-Star, and we were fortunate enough to have some of our team there. So back in the day, those are some just fun memories that you have, and some fun pictures of things. So it's funny because they would pop up on like your, however many years ago, Facebook. It would be at All-Star games in Phoenix and Connecticut, and so then to get to experience this with, Fee and Mac, and obviously the buds. It was just fun to be there and fun to be around everybody, and just to see how different it is. There were some All-Stars back when we played where it's just a different time. There's a lot more production and a lot of eyes, and so I think it was just fun to experience that like a decade later at an All-Star game, how much things have evolved, which is really cool.
Do you have any Indy traditions that you have to hit? Coach mentioned she has to go to Harry and Izzy's and get their lunch special every
I gotta get to St. Elmo's. Gotta get to St. Elmo's. Yeah, gotta hit that, the shrimp cocktail. That's the biggest thing, I would say. There's an Irish pub that I usually try to hit as well. It's right across the street from the arena. But they, it's a lot of great restaurants. It's kind of the thing. It's easy to walk around a bunch of different places and whatnot. So I don't know. That's pretty much it. I mean, it is a good city for events and things like that. It's because a lot of really great restaurants, and those are some of the main ones that I try to hit.
With Vegas coming in tonight, it'll be a first, matchup with them this season with Asia in the lineup.
I know.
How much, it seems, obvious to state, but just how much different do they look when they have Asia?
I was thinking it's my, first game on the staff that I've gone against Asia, so I played against her 1 year. So, yeah, I mean, coming in, I don't know what the exact numbers were, but averaging around 30 the last bunch of games coming in, and clearly, multiple-time MVP and champion in our league. So somebody who's been a huge part of continuing to, grow the game, and Olympian and all those things. So, obviously that, looks different and will be obviously a fun matchup. It's a great team. You look at, the championships in the last decade and a half. Both these franchises have won several of them. So, great coaches on both sides. In Coach and in Becky, and so just obviously Chelsea Gray still gives me nightmares. I'm trying to guard her, and it's kind of fun because this group is a little more of the group Jewel Lloyd in Seattle, just a little bit of some vets that we played against, Becky and I. So now you get to still see them play and try to do what we can do to try to slow them down. Would be a challenge.
Sure. Do you get to walk down memory lane with Chelsea Gray whenever you see her sort of?
I don't speak to her. No, I'm kidding. I know, for sure. I have so much respect for her, and I just am still mad about all the time she hits step-back jumpers, and I thought I had her, and she's just so good and such a great passer. And I just can't believe, well, I can believe, but how much adversity. She had a lot of injuries at Duke and coming in the league. I remember her at Connecticut, and her getting in a little bit, and then is she going to be healthy enough to play? And now she's a Hall of Famer. So it's just pretty unbelievable the career she's had. So if I get to talk to her, well, I don't know. We'll see before the game. You kind of keep things separate, but hopefully get to give her a hug or something.
For sure.
When you look at that last matchup in June, obviously Asia Wilson wasn't there for the Aces, but the Lynx also had to lose Fee early on in that contest. Were there any significant takeaways from that second half where the Lynx were trailing in the first half? They were able to come back without the Lynx best player, even though they were playing without Asia.
We upped our intensity on the ball in that game, and that was kind of one of our not of our best starts. And offensively, we had some shots and some possessions that I think we wish we had back. But I think eventually, defensively, once we got a little more aggressive and our communication kind of turned up, things got better for us, and we were able to pull out the win. But I remember that was one of our slow starts, so you can't do that. You can't think we got to come out, be ready to go at the first 5 minutes tonight for sure.
And what does that say about this team defensively when the reigning defensive player of the year goes out over halfway through the game, and you have to shore up that defense because you're trailing and try and make that comeback.
Yeah, that's the mentality you have to have, is that if somebody goes out, everybody needs to step up and everybody needs to do a little more. And so, when you have, obviously it's hard when a player like Fee, does, happen to, whatever, her back, whatever happened, everybody needs to step up and do a little more. And so, whether that's Jess, Masha in that game, everybody just has to step up and do more emphasis on, pressure on the perimeter. But I think that's just the mentality. Anytime, anything happens in this league, everybody just needs to step up and do what they do best.
Coach mentioned in Masha's first practice with the team, there was a loose ball that she fully extended dove out for, and everyone was kind of like, oh. Yeah. Has kind of her energy just sort of been contagious? Obviously their effort with this team is already strong, but has she sort of upped that to a new level?
Yeah, for sure. I think Mosh, it was actually a skills day. She came in and we were kind of putting her through workouts, and she laid out for a loose ball, and then it was the next day in practice. And we're like, God, Masha's been on the floor, getting loose balls here, every day she's been here, really trying to make an impact on the team. And so she just is, every day you see her, she's a breath of fresh air. She's just a, great person. Obviously she's dynamic. We've been able to put her on different matchups with her length and her ability to move and stay with the ball. Great screener and roller. I think she's this underrated, how she screens, gets out, and rolls to the basket. So, she's just fun to be around. Really, really great person.
In the last few games, Coach has mentioned being pleased with Bridget's number of shot attempts and also just the way she's been aggressive on offense. Yeah. I was talking to Bridget about this a little bit yesterday, but just with a team that, prides itself on passing up good shots for great shots, kind of how difficult is it to find the happy medium of knowing when to pass it and when to shoot it when you're in Bridget's position? Yeah,
I think that you still have to come out and within maybe that first media timeout in the first 5 minutes, get a shot up because you're a shooter. It's easy to sometimes when you have Fee, you have Corey, you have Mac, it's easy to sometimes just kind of run up and down, and those guys are going to get touches for sure. But once you get a shot up, get a good look, usually you just involved and you feel like you're a part of the flow. So she's done a great job of that. I thought she was really intentional today in Shootaround and yesterday in practice of what she's been trying to accomplish and getting in the basket a little more as well as spacing the floor is one of our best shooters. So there's no doubt we need what she brings for our team, just that toughness, but then that ability to score it is something she can definitely do.
It's totally okay if not, but does this current team halfway through the season remind you at all of any Lynx team that you played on that you guys were really successful with?
Well, I think that the standard is always what it is with this team, and not really anything to do with wins and losses, but just how the expectations that Coach had for us, how you come in every day. The work that you put in, every drill, every play we cover, it matters, every cut matters. So this team has that, they pride themselves on those things and doing things with intention. You never just do a drill just to do it, and that's something that Coach has created over her time here. And so, but I think one of the things that's fun to kind of, after watching them last year as a fan and an alum of the team, is now to be in it with them. You see how intentional they are and how much they really pride that and take that seriously, because it's one thing, it's just, Coach is saying it. It's another thing when the players are no, we're going to do this, this possession, we got to know, we got to be ready for transition defense, even in a 5-on-0. So a lot of those are some similarities that I've definitely picked up on, however many games in now we are. So it's definitely, but it feels like home because that's how we treated everything and that's how these players treat it. So it just feels natural.